Okay, so if you look outside right now, what's the weather like?
Windy.
Cloudy.
It's windy. How do you know it's windy?
The trees are moving.
Yes.
The trees are moving. But you didn't go outside. You didn't feel the wind. So you saw it and knew it was windy, right?
Mhm.
So when we're looking at the weather and that kind of thing, we're talking about science, and which we've been doing. And in science, we make these guesses and then find evidence to back them up, right? And we call these hypotheses. So in reading, we have something really similar to hypotheses, but we call them inferences. So inferences are guesses that we back up with evidence from the book. So looking at this chart, we can compare the evidence that we see for hypotheses and what we see for inferences. So when you're making a hypothesis, you know that you're right or wrong based on what you see, what you feel. If you go outside, you can feel the wind against your skin. Sometimes you can hear the wind blowing. Some things you can taste it and know whether or not your guess is right or wrong. You can smell it and kind of get a sign, not really for the wind, but in general. And then for inferences, we're not in the book. We don't know what's happening except through the characters. So whatever we think about the book is through what we see from the characters as they think something, do something, and say something. So we're looking at all of those things, and that's how you make an inference. So an inference is when you know something to be true because of the evidence that you see. And in inference, it's all about books primarily, but it can also be applied to other things in life. But right now we're talking about books. So it's all about the characters. And you know something not because you're in the book and you experienced it yourself, but because the characters are telling you through what they say, what they do, and what they think. And so then the evidence is something that proves an idea to be true. So really it could be anything. You know that it's windy outside because you see the trees moving. So like an example of an inference in this class, we would say, I know that Mariah has a baby, not because she told me that she has a baby at home right now, but because she said that she nursed before she came to class. So typically people who do that have babies. So I'm assuming or inferring that Mariah has a baby. And we're going to talk about how we know the evidence that we find for inferences. So you know that something is true about a story based on what the characters say and don't say, what they do and don't do, and what they think and don't think. It is not always necessarily just what they do say, but sometimes that they aren't saying something, and that might show that they're feeling a certain way, right? So we have some symbols to go with our evidence. So this is the symbol for what they say. It's a pair of lips. And then what they don't say is lips crossed out. What they do is a little person. And what they don't do is a person crossed out. What they think are little thought bubbles. And then what they don't think are thought bubbles that are crossed out. And so we also have some actions to go with these. So what they say is going to be coming from your mouth. What they don't say is not coming from your mouth. What they do and what they don't do, what they think and what they don't think. Okay? So we are going to practice that really fast. So I'm going to point to a symbol and ask you guys to tell me with the action what type of evidence it represents. So what about the little guy?
They
do.
They do. How about the lips? What they say. Good. How about the crossed out thought bubbles?
They don't
They don't think. And let's do a couple more. What about the lips crossed out?
They don't say.
What they don't say. And then last one is what they don't do. Okay? So this is an example of an inference. So that's from the book that we're going to read a little bit of called Pinky and Rex. So main characters, we've got Pinky, who's the main little boy. We've got Rex, the main little girl. And then Amanda is Pinky's little sister. So just on the first page, I got this inference. Because it says, "Wake up, Pinky!" And Pinky's eyes popped open. His little sister Amanda was jumping up and down on his bed. "Wake up, she cried. "I'm awake," said Pinky. "Stop jumping on my bed." So I'm inferring, it didn't say in the book that Pinky was feeling annoyed, but I'm inferring that he was annoyed because he told Amanda to stop jumping on his bed. So it's something that he said, right? So I'm going to read another page of the book, and we're going to see if we can do one together, okay? So this says, "We're going to the museum," Amanda shouted. She did not stop jumping. "We're going to see the dinosaurs. Hurry up, Pinky, get dressed." So what could you infer about how Amanda is feeling right now?
Excited.
She's excited. Okay. And how do we know that she's excited?
Wasn't she like jumping up and down or something?
She did not stop jumping. So that's something that she did. And then we want to know where it came from, too. We aren't just making up these pieces of evidence. So that one was on the second page. And that was, how did we know that she was excited? It was something that she did. Okay. So we know that she's excited by something that she did. She didn't say, "I'm really excited to go to the museum," but her actions told us that she was. So we inferred a couple things. Okay, so now we're going to read more of the book, and then you guys are going to write your own inferences for all three of the main characters. We're going to write 2 inferences for each character, okay? And then we'll see how you're doing after that.